Hi everyone. Hope everybody's doing good. I want to say, with my, I always enjoy being around with my family, especially with my mom's brother, my uncle, and his wife, and at that time, my two cousins. When got off school, I always stopped by their house. We played, we did different activities, so it was fun. But one day, that was about to change my whole point of view on my uncle and my aunt. It all started one afternoon. My cousins and I were playing at the park uh, at the house, and then we hear an arguing going on inside the house. So we went in and check it out. It was my aunt and my uncle. They were arguing. Now I can't say what they were arguing about. I just couldn't forget their expressions that they were mad. They were yelling. So it was like, okay, so is something gonna go on? And then all of a sudden, I see my uncle laying a hand on my aunt. That shocked me because I didn't know how to respond. Thought that was something normal that married people did. So that stuck with me for the rest of my life. That was the first time I experienced domestic abuse in my family. Okay, domestic abuse, in essence, is one sense of violence. Okay, but what is violence? Violence, by the definition of the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is the use of physical force to injure, abuse, damage, or destroy. So, in that sense, violence has always made an impact in all levels of society. We could say many different ways. It's very broad. I know that. But I'm going to touch on three things that I've seen as common. The first one is family. My story that I went through tends to go with this one. Domestic abuse has always been something, has been seen as, the abuse of children or wives as something normal. As a matter of fact, according to experts Gil Sipe, my apologies for mispronouncing, Richards, Givens, and Smith, they stated in the research that as late as the 1970s, the abuse of women, particularly by male partners, was accepted as disciplinary actions. So, if a woman disrespected her husband or was believed to disrespect it, they were able to get, in a sense, hit by their spouse. Okay, so that still goes on. I mean, we may not see it in the public view, but it still goes on in the private lives. Let's move on to the next one. School shootings. It's the violence in schools. On February 14, 2008, a killer went to Northern Illinois University and killed 5 people and wounded 18 others. This was taken from experts Kamenetsky along with experts Kunzwitz, Thompson, and Wise. So they did their research on this individual, trying to understand why this occurred. As time went on, there was an expert by name Thompson came to the realization that there was one factor that was in common. These killers in these shootings were all white males, middle class, from small homes and suburbans, age 11 to 18, average 15, we could say, with no criminal background. So these people, according to this expert, they weren't killers, they weren't gangsters. They were average kids going to school. But something, whether it be personal or academic, something changed in them that made them cause this sense of violence. Lastly, at the national level, we see it in gangs, terrorists, and especially riots, especially the ones that occurred in Ferguson and LA. Whenever there's an injustice and people feel that the justice system isn't working, we'll take it to the streets as the way to protest. And in that sense, buildings and other like vehicles get damaged and during that protest. So yes, in that sense, violence has been around since the beginning. Therefore, we must say this: since violence has been part of our lives since the very beginning, then we need to change something. Yeah, we could say we need to change our laws, get stricter, but I believe it goes beyond that. I say, or I believe, that it starts with each and every one of us. Thank you.